March 1, 2008. A cold Texas night. The town of Emory was still asleep, but at exactly 3 a.m., the silence shattered.
911, what's your emergency?
My daughter, she's dead. My house, my wife, everything's gone. Please, send help. They killed them. They killed my family.
This was not just any 911 call. It was the call that would uncover one of the most shocking, senseless, and heart-wrenching crimes in recent American history. A brutal home invasion, a family torn apart, and the unimaginable truth that it wasn't a stranger who orchestrated it. It was their own 16-year-old daughter. Her name was Erin Caffey, and this is the story of how innocence turned into evil. To outsiders, the Caffeys looked like the American dream. Terry and Penny Caffey were devout Christians, loving parents, faithful churchgoers, raising 3 children in a quiet country home in Alda, Texas. Erin was the middle child, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and beautiful. She played the piano in church, she sang in the choir, she made good grades and rarely got into trouble. Their youngest son, Tyler, was 8. Her older brother, Matthew, had already moved out. It was a quiet, peaceful life until Erin met Charlie Wilkinson. He was 18, she was 16, and from the moment they locked eyes, something shifted in her. It started as a teenage romance, but soon it would spiral into a deadly obsession. Erin's parents were cautious from the beginning. Charlie seemed off. He was clingy, controlling, and above all, he was older. They tried to set boundaries, asked Erin to slow things down. Eventually, they forbade her from seeing him altogether. But that only fueled her rebellion. Behind closed doors, Erin and Charlie were writing letters soaked in teenage passion. And something darker. Lines like, "I'd do anything for you, even kill for you." They weren't just dramatic words from hormonal teens, they were foreshadowing. Charlie wasn't alone either. He had a best friend, Charles Wade, who had a taste for violence and little regard for life. Along with his girlfriend, Bobby Johnson, they formed a toxic triangle that would soon drag Erin into something irreversible. When Penny and Terry Caffey grounded Erin and took away her phone, she lost her mind. To her, it wasn't discipline, it was betrayal. She told Charlie she wanted out of her house, out of her family, out of her life. And Charlie offered her the ultimate solution. What if they were gone? At first, Erin laughed it off, but then she didn't. On February 29th, Charlie Wilkinson, Charles Wade, and Bobby Johnson sat in a car just outside the Caffey home. They weren't talking about prom or parties. They were planning a triple homicide. And Erin? She knew. She helped. She gave them the layout of the house, told them where her parents slept, and where the guns were hidden. March 1st, 3 a.m. The front door creaked open. Terry and Penny were fast asleep in their bed. Charlie Wilkinson held a .22 caliber rifle in his shaking hands. Charles Wade had a samurai sword. They didn't hesitate. Charlie shot Terry in the face, twice, then turned the gun on Penny. Charles followed, slashing Penny with the sword again and again. She fought back even as she bled out on the floor, even as her screams pierced the night. Then they turned to the children. 8-year-old Tyler and 13-year-old Matthew had no chance. Tyler was shot and stabbed. Matthew's bedroom was set on fire. The flames erupted. The smell of smoke filled the halls, but somehow, against all odds, Terry Caffey survived.
Shot 5 times, crawling through fire, he dragged himself 300 yards to a neighbor's house. He had no idea that the girl who kissed him goodnight was the one who planned it all. The next morning, as daylight pierced the smoky ruins of the Caffey home, news spread like wildfire across Alba and Emory. A fire, a murder, the kind of horror no one ever expected in their small Texas town. Flags were lowered, teachers wept at the local school, Friends of Matthew and Tyler left flowers near the remains of the house. Church bells tolled not just in sorrow, but in disbelief. The Caffeys were a pillar of the community. How could something so violent happen to people so kind? And yet, Erin was alive, barely, and no one could understand why she had been spared, why her whole family had died except her. Until whispers began. Whispers that Erin wasn't just a victim, that maybe, just maybe, she was something else entirely. Erin's story, at first, seemed simple. She'd been kidnapped, she said she didn't know what happened to her family, but the sheriff noticed. No signs of restraint, no bruises, no scratches, no blood on her, despite being in the same house when her family was butchered. Then came the strangest clue of all. A witness spotted Erin and her boyfriend, Charlie Wilkinson, just hours after the fire, calm, uninjured, buying drinks and snacks at a Sonic drive-in. The sheriff raised an eyebrow. Who goes on a burger run after watching their family die? The truth was unraveling fast, and Erin's mask was starting to slip. Deputies brought in Charlie Wilkinson, 17, quiet, the boy Erin had once called her soulmate. He didn't hold out for long. In that cold interrogation room, the truth spilled out like poison. He confessed to everything. The plan, the rage, the killings. And then, he said the name that shattered everything. Erin wanted it done. Silence fell. Even the seasoned detectives were stunned. The girl they'd just comforted, the one the town was praying for, wasn't a survivor. She was the mastermind. According to Charlie, Erin was trapped. Her parents didn't approve of him. They took away her phone, forbade her from seeing him. And so, she wanted them gone. What began as teenage rebellion twisted into a murder plot. Erin convinced Charlie she was being abused, that if he loved her, he would do something, anything.
He said she cried and begged. She said, "If you don't kill them, I will." So Charlie brought his best friend, Charles Wade, and Charles's girlfriend, Bobby. 3 teens, high on anger and adrenaline, drove to the Caffey house, ready to destroy an entire family because a girl said it would prove love. It was after midnight. The world was asleep, but evil was wide awake. Charlie and Charles Wade crept into the Caffey home, armed with a .22 rifle and a samurai sword. Terry Caffey woke up first, shot 5 times, but somehow he crawled out of the house. Penny was next, shot in the head, point blank. Then they turned to the children. 12-year-old Matthew. He begged them not to hurt him. They stabbed him repeatedly with a sword. 8-year-old Tyler was sleeping. They set the house on fire with him still inside. And Erin? She sat outside, waiting in the car, listening to the screams of her dying family. They drove away into the night, music playing, laughter echoing in the silence, as the flames consumed the home behind them. She wasn't kidnapped. She was the conductor of it all. In the days that followed the confessions, investigators uncovered letters and text messages exchanged between Erin and Charlie. They weren't just teenage notes. They were plans. Chilling plans. Cold and methodical. One message read, "If I'm going to kill someone, I don't want to leave any evidence behind." Another one said, "Are you ready to do it? Tonight's the night." These weren't the words of a frightened girl under control. They were the words of a young woman who knew exactly what she wanted and was willing to kill for it. But the most disturbing part? Erin had written in her diary weeks before the murders, "I want my family gone." The more they read, the more law enforcement struggled with the same question. How could a daughter so lovingly raised betray the very people who gave her everything? In the small town of Emory, Texas, the community changed overnight. The burning house was now only ashes, but its memory lingered like a ghost in the wind. People whispered in grocery store aisles,
Neighbors avoided eye contact. Teachers cried in staff meetings. The Caffey family had been the town's pride, a picture-perfect Christian family. Now they were shattered, literally. Some blamed Erin. Others couldn't bring themselves to believe it. She must have been brainwashed. Some said no girl that sweet would plan something so evil.
But the evidence was overwhelming. And still, one person had survived. When Terry Caffey woke up in the hospital, the truth hit him like a freight train. His wife? Gone. His sons? Murdered in their sleep. And his daughter? Behind it all. For a while, he couldn't speak. He refused to believe it. Erin? No, impossible. But when investigators showed him the text messages, the notes, the confession, his world caved in. I just kept asking myself, how? Why? But Terry didn't respond with hatred. What he said shocked everyone. I forgive her. Forgive. The daughter who helped destroy his family. He said, hate killed my family. I won't let it take what's left of me. When Erin faced trial, the courtroom was silent. She walked in wearing a soft blouse and glasses, her face expressionless. Charlie, Bobby, and Charles Wade had already pleaded guilty to capital murder. Charlie was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Bobby and Charles got 30 and 60 years, respectively. But Erin, she was just 16. Prosecutors agreed to a deal. She pled guilty to murder and was sentenced to 2 life sentences with the possibility of parole after 40 years. She would be 59 before she had a chance at freedom. And yet, many wondered, was that enough for what she had done? Today, Erin Caffey sits in a Texas prison. She says she has found God. She prays. She writes letters to her father. And Terry Caffey? He's still rebuilding his life, one brick at a time. He remarried. He gives talks about forgiveness and faith. He says he still loves Erin. I lost everything, but I refuse to lose hope. A tragedy so cruel, so unimaginable. Yet somehow, in the ashes of the fire, love still flickers. But one question still haunts the world. How far will a person go for love, and at what cost? The night Erin Caffey chose love over blood became the night 3 innocent lives were stolen forever. Her mother, Penny, stabbed and left to die. Her 2 little brothers, burned alive in the very house they called home. And her father, crawling from the ashes, scarred in ways no surgery could fix. All because his daughter wanted to be free. This wasn't just a crime, it was a betrayal so deep it cut through bone and blood. And even now, behind bars, Erin never truly apologized. Her father forgave her, but should the world? Do you think someone capable of this level of manipulation deserves a second chance? Or should some sins never be forgiven, even by family? If this story left you speechless, share it with someone who needs to hear the truth. And don't forget to subscribe, because we tell the stories others are afraid to.